I took out 2 cups of it, and then I added half a cup of buttermilk and put it in a warm place until it thickened. Now, as you can see, it's definitely thick. Now it's time to pour it in. Nice and thick. I got the stove set on 1. That way it doesn't make some kind of hard crumbly cheese. Once you plug it in, you got it set about 1. It'll slowly start to cook. Don't want to rush the process any. This will make a little bit less than half a gallon. And once you separate the curds from the whey, then you'll be able to use it how you want to. A lot of people use a cheesecloth to separate it. You can use that, or you could use a strainer. It's entirely your own choice what you want to do with it. You definitely do not want to rush anything. The key thing is patience, because you're going to have to spend at least a day or 2 waiting for the milk to ferment with the buttermilk and thicken, but not thicken to the point that it's rotten, just to the point that it starts to have a different consistency and looks thick. And that's when you can start to make your cheese. And you never want to try to cook it at a high temperature, because once you do that, it might cook faster, but you're going to have really hard cheese, and you're not going to want that. As you can see now, it's starting to boil. And definitely it's not ready to be turned off, because it still hasn't separated. Curds and whey have not separated any at all. It's still relatively early. Only being into 4 minutes into cooking it. The key here again is patience. Patience, and slowly cook it. Like I said, I turned my setting on 1, which would basically be about sim on a regular stovetop. I'm using a double burner, so it has a number 1. I would put it about that area and just slowly let it get ready. Very slowly bubbling up. and we'll see how long it takes. I'm guessing it'll be at least probably 20 minutes at the very least. And this is what you would find at the store called a farmer's cheese. However, this is Polish, and again, how you would make this, you would take half a gallon of milk, take out 2 cups of it, add half a cup of buttermilk. After that, you put it in a warm place where it can start to get ready. Then once it's thick, then you can pour it in at a very low setting and slowly cook the curds and whey. Ever so slight bubbles forming. Everything is going well. And once you see a lot of liquid and the cheese looks much more harder than what it is now, then you'll know it's ready. But I would definitely keep the camera rolling. That way you can see about how long that you should let it simmer for before you turn off the stove. And then later, either strain it or put it through the cheesecloth. Now, an interesting fact is I actually use low-fat cultured buttermilk. And this is what I use. Half a cup of it to get everything started. And a little bit goes a long way. Typically use 1 whole cup per gallon. However, with me making smaller amounts at a time, I cut it down to just half a cup of buttermilk for less than 2 cups of half a gallon of milk. And one of the reasons I do that is so it doesn't overfill, because when it starts to thicken, it can rise, and if it rises, then that can make a great mess. So those of you that are at home and want to try this, just get half a cup of buttermilk along with half a gallon of milk. Remove 2 cups of the milk and use it however you want. Put your half cup of buttermilk in and keep it in a warm spot. At least a day, maybe 2 days. Really depends on how quickly you can get it to thicken. And once it has thickened, then you can cook it on a temperature, either simmer or on a very low temperature anyway, until everything starts to separate. And it's still pretty thick. And for anyone watching that does happen to try to make this, feel free to write in the comment section how yours turned out. And again, when you're starting to ferment everything, it has to be in a warm location. Otherwise, it won't thicken. If you put it in the refrigerator and do it, you won't get any results. It's going to have to be somewhere warm. Now let's check and see how thick it's got. Separated some, but I don't think as much as what it could be. Do it a little bit longer. Well, the curds have separated. It's looking more and more like cheese. So, don't want to overcook anything. I'm going to turn it off. Thank you so much for watching. And smacznego!